When a new sustainability mandate arrives, most companies follow a predictable pattern. They identify a single compliance officer and send them to a workshop to solve the problem. This diagram shows the executive expectation, a smooth flowchart where one person's training leads directly to corporate success. But reality hits. The flowchart is immediately blocked by heavy red barriers in operations and finance, departments that weren't in the room. This dynamic results in more than a failed environmental goal. It creates a total loss of budget and persistent friction between departments. Executives must decide whether to treat sustainability as a technical silo for one specialist or a cross-departmental strategy that requires the entire leadership team to align. The trade-off is simple. You can pay the upfront cost of taking your executive team offline, or you can pay the long-term cost of zero implementation. The single approach is attractive because the inputs are low. You pay one registration fee, pulling just one person from their daily responsibilities. That officer returns to the office energized, bringing back specialized frameworks like systems thinking to overhaul how the company handles waste and energy. But the rest of the organization hasn't been briefed. They lack the specific vocabulary and context required to even evaluate the proposals being put in front of them. We trace this in a decision tree. A new sustainability initiative branches down, but immediately terminates at 3 red nodes: operations, finance, and executive. Without context, these leaders default to a veto, resulting in a 0% survival rate. Saving money on the initial workshop registration effectively guarantees that none of the ideas will ever reach the production line. To fix this, you have to bring in the operations manager. They are the ones who actually manage the risks that sustainability training aims to mitigate. Pulling the operations manager off the factory floor creates a temporary, deeply frustrating disruption to daily production schedules. However, that manager needs to understand the why behind new processes, like wastewater management. If they don't, they will view sustainability as a distraction rather than a requirement. The same logic applies to the finance director. Without their presence in the training, the budget remains locked. This requires a numbers-focused executive to spend several hours engaging with environmental concepts that may initially seem abstract. The outcome is the finance director learns how to calculate the actual return on these initiatives, moving them from a cost center to a legitimate business investment. On the decision tree, the operations and finance nodes now turn green. The initiative path is finally able to flow past the middle management level. Corporate resources follow whoever understands the ROI. When finance and operations are aligned on the benefits, the funding for sustainability follows. The final tier of input is the most expensive, taking the CEO, HR director, and supply chain manager offline at the same time. The scheduling difficulty here is significant, representing a high cost in executive hours, normally spent on revenue-generating tasks. But the HR director is the only one who can write the social pillar of ESG into enforceable policy, ensuring the changes outlast a single workshop. Your supply chain manager must attend to identify hidden external risk exposures originating from your third-party vendor networks. And the CEO provides the necessary executive sponsorship. Their presence signals to every department that these changes are a corporate mandate, not a suggestion. With the leadership team trained, the final executive node turns green. This doesn't automate the work, but ensures proposals are no longer killed by departments that don't understand their value. Having the right people in the room transforms a lecture into a strategy session, ensuring decisions made actually stick. We have to accept the structural reality. One trained person in an untrained organization is not a catalyst for change. It is a recipe for frustration. This chart maps your 2 options, comparing organizational disruption on the x-axis against the initiative survival rate on the y-axis. In the bottom left, we have single officer training. It creates almost zero disruption to your schedule, but it offers a negligible survival rate for new ideas. Use this approach only if your goal is to check a minimal regulatory box without intending to change how your business actually operates. The top right quadrant maps collective C-suite training. You pay a higher upfront cost in executive hours to ensure the people with the power to approve projects have the knowledge to do so. This is the required path for companies facing real ESG exposure or those that need to see a measurable return on their sustainability investments. Stop viewing collective training as an inflated expense.
It is the only way to eliminate the internal friction that prevents your strategy from becoming reality.